Hi, this is Eric O'Dell with Continuous Testing Live at CA Technologies, and we're here broadcasting live at AWS reInvent at the CA Technologies booth, where we're talking about being a DevOps rockstar, how you can make your cloud apps rock. I'm joined here with Margaret Lee. She's the Senior Vice President of Product for Continuous Delivery. How are you doing today, Margaret?
Good, Eric. How are you?
Doing great. And so tell me about some of the challenges you're hearing around testing while you're wandering around here at the show.
Yeah, sure. This is a great conference, lots of developers and testers and release managers, right? So testing is a big area. How do you break that down? The way we think about it is 3 different layers of a cake, right? At the core is different kind of tests you need to run. You need to do UI functional tests, APIs, performance testing, security testing, load testing, et cetera, right? And also in a foundational layer, you need all sorts of tools and technologies to make sure testing efficient. You need to create a test environment. You need to virtualize systems you cannot access. You need data to test with. You need testing a stage and be able to move code, right? And then across the top, more and more, people like to understand what they're testing with a big picture. You need to run analytics. You need to understand your test coverage and all the test results and how to improve in the efficiency, effectiveness of your test. So it's a big area. That's how we think about it, a 3-layer cake, and want to make sure you cover all of them.
All right, and CA Technologies has made a number of announcements right now in terms of the kind of continuous testing solutions that they are helping development teams and testers with a number of these challenges that you've been talking about. So why don't we break down some of these things? Recently we talked about service virtualization with Code SV and the community edition of service virtualization. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So back to the 3-layer cake. On the most foundational, what we call the test efficiency layer, we have a product called CA Service Virtualization that lets you virtualize endpoints and systems they don't have access to. And we've recently announced the Community Edition and also Code SV. Both are free. Community Edition is a developer version and individual sort of version that's lightweight, easily getting started for people new to the technology. Code SV is a set of libraries you can incorporate into your IDEs for developers. So you can virtualize endpoints even as you code. Also on the efficiency layer, we announced a virtual test data management. Yeah, like I said earlier, test data is one of the hidden challenges, but comes to very, very quickly become apparent when people are trying to do continuous testing. We announced virtual test data, which is you can make a gold copy of the test data that you need, and then you could give virtual copies to as many developers at virtually no cost for them to do testing. And on the middle layer of the cake, we have announced API testing. Right, so BlazeMeter, CA BlazeMeter is well known for open source based, cloud-based performance testing. We have announced the CA BlazeMeter API testing, moving into the functional testing environment. Okay, we've also announced support for Taurus, another open source based test execution engine, right, to support the core part of the 3-layer cake. Thirdly, we've announced the Continuous Delivery Director, which is a release management end-to-end visibility and orchestration tool, okay, that lets you move from requirements with systems like Agile Central from CA or Jira system, monitor and manage each step of the way in development and testing, right, and move all the way into production and complete that closed-down loop. So we have made significant announcements in all 3 layers. So being in AWS, just want to call out that many of these are either available on AWS through the marketplace, the service virtualization product like I mentioned, or are available as a cloud offering. The BlazeMeter and Blaze API are SaaS-based test offerings, and Continuous Delivery Director is available as a SaaS offering as well.
Okay, and so there is another solution I've been hearing about, and that's virtual test data management. So I'd like to tell us a little bit about test data management and what's new with this virtual test data management.
Yes. So I talked a little bit about it earlier, but test data management is, like I said, one of the hidden problems, but 10 out of 10 customers will run into that. Because when you're trying to test a piece of functionality, you need some sort of data to make sure it's right? You need customer information, accounts information, purchase records, just to test the functionality is right. but many times that data is scarce. People may want to pull data from production environment, but they're faced with the fact that they need to mask it to make sure no PII data is visible for developers and testers who may not be entitled to see them, or they need to synthetically generate that data. But in any shape or form, get that sufficient amount of data to cover all the possibilities, to cover endpoints, to do both positive tests, right, that your functionality works, and also do negative tests. Certain data should not be supported by the business logic. So get all of that right is very, very challenging. It's one of those things that people don't think about, and they accelerate the development, and then immediately comes to a red light stop of lacking data. And how do people solve that problem today? They do that manually, literally on spreadsheets, Excel, and upload it to CSVs. But there's never enough data generated that way, okay? Or they can pull from production. The virtual test data management, VTDM, offering that we have created is to make test data as easily accessible, easily available for as many testers as possible. So the way that works is data engineers can pull data from a variety of sources, create gold copies, and those gold copies, it's essentially data pool. That could be megabytes, gigabytes of data, okay? But those data can be made as virtual copies, kilobytes in size, very quickly made available to developers and at virtually zero cost. So the virtual copies are shareable, the virtual copies are editable, the virtual copies are short-lived and then be thrown away. So it's very, very easy to use and very low cost.
So thank you very much, Margaret, for that update on all of CA Technologies' new continuous testing solutions. And if you want to learn more, go to ca.com and take a look at all of our testing solutions there. And this is Eric O'Dell with CA Testing, with Continuous Testing Live, and we'll see you next time.